Over the last several months, 304 Utahns have died from COVID-19. More than 40,000 have been sick, and nearly 84,000 are still out of work right now. Good evening. And whether you have had the virus, lost your job, or homeschooled your kids in some way or form, coronavirus has impacted just about every single person here in Utah.
So tonight we're taking a look at ways your family can find happiness and health this summer amid challenging times. Welcome to this Your Life, Your Health special, Navigating the New Normal.
Well, now is no time to let up in our defense against COVID-19. Intermountain Healthcare's Dr. Mark Lewis says that is especially true as fall quickly approaches here and other seasonal respiratory illnesses start picking up again. But if everyone takes the recommended precautions, things could quickly improve.
The virus needs us to live and to persist. So if we all follow the rules, all of us, for 2 weeks, this would drop off dramatically.
As research shows, masks are an important part of the solution as we continue to fight this virus. And it's more important now than ever to wear them. Knowing how to properly wash and wear a mask is critical.
Just eat it because they're yummy.
Bill Fowler does his best to keep his family safe at home.
Yeah, will you pick the peas for me?
When he does venture out, he's always prepared with a clean mask.
Take them right out of the laundry, put them in the glove box, and then once I've used them, they go down here.
He treats his masks just like any other laundry.
They're really no different than socks or underwear. Will you grab me your masks? For the most part, we don't grab dirty ones and put them back on. You just throw them in the laundry for me?
Every Monday, Bill washes them on high heat to kill germs. Intermountain Healthcare's Michelle Mateo says cotton is the best material.
The thicker the material it is, the more it's going to trap your secretions.
She tells people to avoid touching the outside of their mask.
The outside of your mask is considered to be dirty, so you don't want to put it on a surface and then contaminate the surface.
Sanitize your hands when touching your mask and when taking it on and off.
You should only grab from the loops.
Most importantly,
so you have to make sure it's covering your nose and your mouth and that it makes a good seal around your face.
But this is what we started off with.
Bill says finding the right fit makes a difference.
I'm way more likely to do it.
He shopped around until he found a mask that worked.
We have to do our part. We have to keep others safe.
He says it's worth it to keep his family healthy.
This is something so small that I can do, and if somehow that's helping someone else, why wouldn't we want to do that?
Intermountain Healthcare is still accepting donations for cloth masks. You can drop them off in the green bins located outside of their hospitals.
And in addition to masks, hand sanitizer has quickly become a staple in most households. But not all sanitizers are created equal. The CDC recommends using a product that contains at least 60% alcohol. Anything less might not kill the germs. And just like normal soap, you should be sure to rub your hands together for about 20 seconds when using hand sanitizer.
While these measures may feel inconvenient at times, doctors say they do make a difference.
Yeah, Dave McCann has a story of a Utah man who has now recovered from COVID-19 and says that taking the necessary precautions to protect yourself is completely worth it.
I've been called a rebel, and I am a country boy.
Most know him as the burly man from a BYU TV original who takes his motorcycle across the country telling the nation's story.
I'm Stan Ellsworth. This ain't your high school history class. This is American Ride.
But today, we're telling his story.
I thought, I'll never catch this. You know, I'm big and tough and strong. Don't have
And yet, even 61-year-old Stan Ellsworth wasn't immune to COVID-19.
And then I started having trouble breathing.
His wife, Stacy, took him to the hospital.
The breathing was getting worse, like by the minute.
She thought she'd be back in a couple of hours to pick him up, but instead...
He blew me a kiss, and then I didn't see him for 26 days.
Doctors put Stan on a ventilator that night and told Stacy...
You better prepare yourself because, you know, this really could go either way. He's really, really sick.
He had pneumonia in both lungs. With no visitors allowed, Stan was alone. He relied on this picture.
I'd look up at that picture and I'd see Stacy. Right now, I just got to fight to get home to her.
Stan's mother died while he was at the hospital in a coma. He believes she was with him in spirit when no one else could be there.
My mom knew it, and she showed up. That's what moms do.
He says that experience and the prayers of friends and family and his wonderful nurses got him through it. After 46 days in the hospital, the former linebacker of the Detroit Lions was finally discharged on June 27th. The Ellsworths say it was a miracle, but it hasn't been easy.
It's like he had to relearn how to do everything.
This
again.
beats you down. Okay, this disease is no joke.
Intermountain Healthcare's ICU doctor Peter Krosno says recovery is a long road.
They're looking at months, if not years, of recovery.
Stan went through occupational, physical, and speech therapy.
You get through the treatment, but you're left with the weakness in the muscles, the cognitive challenges. People have to learn how to swallow again sometimes.
Krosno says a traumatic experience like this can also impact someone's emotional and mental health.
It's really life-changing for people.
You know, the emotional hit is, I'm not who I was. It's a difficult realization.
Stan will be on oxygen for the next 4 to 6 months. He urges people to take precautions seriously.
Wearing a mask, I think, is a wise choice.
Stan and Stacy say they now live for the simple things in life, like their grandchildren and each other.
I am so grateful for him every day of my life.
Dave McCann, KSL 5 News.
Good to see he's doing okay now. All right, we know staying physically distant is also a key to prevention here.
Many are taking to the mountains to escape their own homes, and I can vouch you'll find the trails are more popular than usual. Health specialist Allie Davis has tips on how you can beat the crowds.
It's not uncommon for Megan Hansen to be up before the sun.
The rattlesnakes aren't out yet. The people aren't really out.
Today, she's hiking Lake Mary up Big Cottonwood Canyon for the very first time.
And so it's just like so refreshing. You get the wind in your face, you have the sun, you have the rain, the snow, whatever it is.
Megan loves to hike all the time, but says it's been especially therapeutic during COVID-19.
It's like it's stressful and it can be scary, like not knowing what's going to happen.
At a time when everything seems unfamiliar, Megan says nature provides her with a sense of stability.
It doesn't matter what's happening, like you can still like escape it all and just kind of relax and not worry about what's going to happen tomorrow.
But with school out and people working from home, she's noticed increased traffic on the trails.
So it's definitely busier during the days now. You definitely have to like kind of plan around it.
She says the key to avoiding crowds is hiking really early in the morning.
We'll usually like start between 5 or 6.
If waking up early to avoid crowds isn't for you, you can try using Intermountain Healthcare's online tool, Healthy Hikes, to find trails that might not be as popular. It allows you to filter your search by difficulty, length, and accessibility, and also highlights mountain biking and kid-friendly trails. Each hike shows pictures and a map of the trailhead.
Morning, guys.
Although Lake Mary is a well-known trail, Megan says she only saw a few people at that hour.
I can usually count it on one hand.
Keeping her safe and healthy during the pandemic.
Absolutely 100% recommend it.
And best of all,
it's gorgeous.
For your life, your health. Allie Davis, KSL 5 News.
Just like art, journaling is another way to kind of talk about what you're going through right now.
Still ahead, why writing in your journal is about more than just documenting life during a pandemic. Plus, the best way to politely tell somebody you feel uncomfortable attending a social event. We're going to talk to Miss Manners next. Well, thanks to COVID-19, etiquette is not what it used to be. It's not about handshakes and hugs anymore. It's about navigating everyone's own particular comfort level during the pandemic, and that can make for some awkward moments and a lot of questions as well.
Yeah, photojournalist Peter Rosen got answers from two people who really have a name for themselves in the world of manners.
Dear Miss Manners, I was invited to a socially distanced party.
During a pandemic, things are going to get a little awkward.
I'm no spring chicken, so I feel more at risk. And I had questions for the host.
So we called columnist Judith Martin. She wrote a new book on etiquette, and we called a post.
Even friends and family can be on different levels of comfort.
Great-great-granddaughter of Emily Post, who wrote the book on etiquette.
You really should expect, if you're inviting people over, for people to ask you questions. Have you traveled recently? How kind of small is the circle that you're keeping?
When you put it on yourself, when you say, you know, I'm a little timid about this, people will understand.
No offense meant. I just really am trying my best during a difficult time.
Dear Miss Manners, when I'm in public, how can I politely ask people to keep their social distance? The answer, says Miss Manners,
not by screaming at them.
isn't yelling.
When you want to change someone's behavior, you don't do it by insulting them and shaming them. It just doesn't work. Oh, I think I better back off a little. We're a little too close.
It's to encourage bathroom hygiene.
Look, free soap and water.
Humoring. It's ending a Zoom call when you have no place to be.
There's a wonderful expression that people have been using for a long time, which is, I won't keep you.
Without saying that you do.
You don't have to have an excuse. Thank you for inviting me. I'm so sorry I can't.
We as Americans aren't always that great at rejection or uncomfortable or awkward situations. And I think that's normal. But I think, sorry, there's me not turning my phone on silent for a Zoom call. I'm so sorry. This pandemic is presenting us with a lot of frequent awkward situations, and I think we're getting better. I think we're getting better at being able to hear, this isn't comfortable for me anymore. I am still so happy to be your friend, but I've got to take myself out of this situation right now.
During a pandemic, things are going to get awkward. And Post says,
it's going to happen. It's going to be awkward.
Well, I won't keep you. We're getting used to it.
Take care.
So long. Peter Rosen, KSL 5 News.
And you could do a virtual elbow bump at the end. Miss Manner's Guide to Contagious Etiquette was written by Martin and her 2 children. Post is now working on the 100th anniversary edition of the book authored by her great-great-grandmother.
We aren't very well wired to sleep when we're stressed.
You may be having a hard time sleeping during the pandemic. Coming up, how to get a little more shut-eye. Also ahead, the best places to safely staycation in Utah's summer.
Well, it can be hard dealing with emotions when there's so much beyond our control during this pandemic.
But there is a simple and scientifically proven way to process what we're feeling and improve our mental health. As new specialist Heather Simonson explains, it all starts with picking up a pen.
Being a new mom can be challenging.
Do you want to eat the book instead of reading it?
While Brianna Moffat loves it,
Oh, so much.
raising Harvey during the pandemic is tough.
I had a winter baby, which makes you a little bit shut in for the winter. And then COVID happened, and I just feel like I've been a little bit isolated.
She finds journaling helps.
Just like art, journaling is another way to kind of talk about what you're going through right now.
She makes journals and encourages expressive writing.
Right now we're doing a long stitch journal. It's just you and your journal, and you're able to talk about what you're feeling.
Experts say focusing on emotions or suppressing them can cause high blood pressure and mental health problems. Expressing what we're feeling helps us find balance in a productive way.
It allows you to acknowledge some problems or some feelings that you have, and at the same time not get stuck in them.
Psychologist Brian Bushman recommends starting small. Set aside time to do it each day. Avoid judging yourself harshly and journal for yourself only. A free flow of ideas and honest feelings.
We're talking about you having a safe space to feel whatever it is you need to feel, to transfer it from here to somewhere else, so that you can kind of get some distance from it.
And it doesn't have to be fancy or even written.
You can record in your cell phone on a memo, but there's no need to do grammar. There's no need, because your English teacher is not going to see this.
And sometimes just drawing, putting things in that you find, pressing leaves, anything just kind of helps you have that connection to yourself in your journal. If you were going to write a page of your own novel, what would that first page say?
There are shortcuts to help you get started.
I really love journal prompts because I get writer's block all the time and I don't know what to say. And so I pull one out of a jar and then I'm able to kind of go off of that.
You can keep a second journal for posterity.
I feel like this time is so unique, and especially being a mom now, I want to be able to document what we're going through and be able to share that with Harvey when he's older.
Sharing the joys.
What you doing?
And difficulties.
Is everyone good on your tooth?
Of an unprecedented time. For Your Life, Your Health, Heather Simonson, KSL 5 News.
Heather, thank you. Children are not the only ones who might be having a hard time getting their Z's during this pandemic. Intermountain Healthcare's sleep psychologist, Lori Nealman, says increased stress and lack of routine can be really disruptive to sleep.
People are up much later and they don't really have work to get up for, and even school, the kids didn't have school to get up for. So it impacts that ability of the body to regulate.
She tells people to only use their bed for sleeping.
And all of a sudden, they're doing their work in their bed. and they might be having a little dinner in bed, and they're binge watching shows in bed, and then they're expected to sleep in bed as well.
Nealman also says if you are struggling to sleep, stay away from taking naps during the day. She also reminds people to avoid caffeine or alcohol late in the day. Try to go to bed and get up at the same time every single day and get plenty of sunshine. Good advice there. All right, still ahead, the best places to staycation with your family this summer and how to do it safely. All right, while you might not be hopping on an airplane this summer, we are lucky to live in a state that provides so much outdoor beauty where you can safely physically distance.
Oh, you can say that again. Check out 5 ideas for a fun and safe summer staycation. Number 1, the Spiral Jetty or Antelope Island on the Great Salt Lake. 2, Fantasy Canyon in Vernal, known for its beautifully weathered sandstone. Plus, it might not be as crowded as a national park. 3, Bears Ears National Monument for those down south. 4, the Sun Tunnels in Wendover. It's unique art installations. And 5, try setting up a tent in your backyard. You just need a mask, sanitizer, and a smile.
That's not bad.
Yeah.
I can do that. Have a good night. We'll see you tonight at 10.